Hey guys, I'm Candy and welcome back to Candy's Locker Room. NFL Week 12. Let's jump right in, shall we? So let's talk about this Washington's and Cowboys game. Being that the Washingtons beat the Cowboys 41-16, it is safe to say that the Cowboys have elected to forfeit this season. And that's perfectly fine with me because obviously we are not here to play football this season, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put two and two together here. We don't have our starting quarterback. We were already struggling a little bit in that department, and it seemed like maybe we were just starting to get things together, and this happens. That's like a sure downer for this season. So, needless to say, I am looking forward to the season next year. My fellow Cowboy fans, I say that they chose to forfeit or forego this season because I really wish that was the case. This has been a terrible and, quite frankly, cursed season for the Dallas Cowboys. And to make matters worse, in this game against the Washingtons, within like 4 plays of one another, 2 of our offensive linemen went out with an injury for the game. But just before we stop watching the Cowboys for this season, the Cowboys are playing the Baltimore Ravens. And it is going to be a game that all Cowboys fans have been waiting to see and ready to watch because they will be reunited with their beloved Dez Bryant. That's right, it's going to be 88 CeeDeeLamb versus 88 Dez Bryant, this time in a Baltimore Ravens jersey in Baltimore. It will be a quite interesting game to watch to see what Dez Bryant is going to produce on the field and how the players, his former teammates, are going to perform and interact with him. As always, though, I'm going to go for my Dallas Cowboys. I hope that we win that game. I'm praying for a miracle every day, guys. And we have a little bit of good news on the horizon. It was reported that Dak was out and about with his teammates at practice, on a crutch, of course, but he's ahead of his recovery time. So hopefully we will have our quarterback next year back, guys. Now into the biggest game of Week 12, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, aka Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. Or should I say the Tampa Bay Bucks versus Tyreek Hill. I know the Bucks defense has some struggling points, but to let the same man run over you 3 times in one game really shows some weak points that they need to work on. Despite the Bucks' best efforts, well, I wouldn't call it best efforts, despite the Bucks trying to make a comeback after the first quarter with a couple of touchdowns, it just was no match for their own quarterback's interceptions. At this point, people are starting to question, is it time for Tom Brady to finally retire? He came back and everyone, well, not came back, he never left, but he went to the Tampa Bay Bucks and everyone thought it was the Bucks' saving grace. And for a while, and sometimes he was doing pretty well, but there's been multiple games now where he's thrown multiple interceptions in the game. Do you guys think that it is time for him to retire? Well, they lost 24-27 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now it's time for Candy's flag on the play. Our first flag on the play was during the Seattle Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles game. It was Darius Slay and DK Metcalf. If you do not hear about DK Metcalf going up and down the field, running plays and touchdowns all over a team, you are going to hear about him running up and down the field, fighting people. I am tired of hearing about this man fighting every week. My next flag on the play wasn't exactly a fight, but it was an argument between Tampa Bay Buccaneers Tom Brady and Kansas City Chiefs Chris Jones. Now, I wanted to show this one because I felt like nobody was protecting the quarterback. I don't know if I was imagining things, but the Bucs seemed to be over it, like looking at Tom Brady and shaking their head like, man, come on, you throwing all these interceptions and you want to get into it with somebody? Play some football, throw some touchdowns. My third flag on the play was Cam Newton and Isaiah Simmons. Cam Newton was running out of bounds and Isaiah Simmons comes in to tackle him and makes helmet-to-helmet contact and gets a personal foul, his second of the game, and it's just not smart. You guys, you know that you're not supposed to make these hits, especially on the quarterback. But when it's helmet to helmet, you can get ejected from the game. It wasn't smart. And after that, it wasn't over for the Patriots either, because they went after him for hitting the quarterback like that. So we're going to step out of bounds here a little bit, and we are going to roll back to high school for this next flag on the play. My dad sent this over to me, and I'm like, what? There was a player ejected from the game, and he goes over to the sidelines almost, and he makes a UE back and runs and hits the referee and knocks him to the ground. Needless to say, he was escorted off of the field by officers. I think that's my biggest flag on the play. That's worse than these NFL players, and by the looks of it, he may not make it to the NFL with that type of attitude. Now it's time for my favorite part. Well, one of my favorite parts, Candy's hot shot of the week. First hot shot of the week is Hassan Reddick. He had on this trench coat that was like tribal print, and it had this hunter green, and I love, love, love hunter green. He had on hunter green pants, this nude turtleneck shirt, and a hunter green mask with this nudish hat with a red brim underneath. It was a beautiful outfit. I loved it, especially for this time of the year. So him alone, he gets my hot shot of the week, because I'm a bit disappointed in the outfits this week. And here's why. I know it was cold, but anyway, here's my fumbles of the week. Some of my Dallas Cowboys, we'll start with Ezekiel Elliott. Now, I know it wasn't the greatest week for the Cowboys, and I know that it was Thanksgiving Day and it was cold, but did all of you just have to throw on shirts and a jacket? Zeke had on, I did like his Cowboys jacket, but he had on a hoodie underneath it, and they just didn't look game day ready. And you play how you look how you feel. However that saying goes, it didn't work for us that day. They should have dressed like they meant business, and maybe they would have meant a little bit more business on Thanksgiving Day and won us that game. Now it's time for Candy's Q&A. The first question was, as a Cowboys fan, would you rather lose games on purpose, basically is what this person is asking, the rest of the season to get a better draft pick, or would I rather win? I would rather win. I don't care. Well, I do care about the draft pick, but we never pick up who I want us to pick up anyway. So, and I'm not a quitter. I don't like for the Cowboys to quit, but I feel like that's probably where this season is headed. They're going to do what they have to do to get that draft pick, because let's just leave it at that. This season isn't going great. The next question was, what is your favorite Cowboys moment? My favorite Cowboys moment has to do with me and the Cowboys. So I have two of them so far. So to answer the question, my first favorite Cowboys moment is me going to the Dallas Cowboys training camp for the very first time. And I have been wanting to go for so long. I went, and it was magical for me. I loved every moment of it. I loved it so much. I missed work. I called in sick. Secondly, I got into an accident on the way to training camp another day, and I got the guy's information. It was his fault, and I went to training camp. I was late, but I still went up there. I love the Cowboys, y'all. So that was one of my favorite moments, because I got to finally experience that for the first time, and it was perfect for me. Let's see. My other favorite Cowboys moment, there's a couple, but yeah, my second favorite is going to the Cowboys game with my entire family, me, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brother. We all went to the Cowboys game, and we were like right there. The best. That was my first Cowboys game, I believe. Yeah, that was my first Cowboys game, and I loved it. Again, I loved it. Anything with Cowboys, I just love it. It was perfect. I didn't want to leave. And yeah. Well, guys, that's all I have for our Week 12 recaps and updates and all that good stuff. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Candy's Locker Room. Follow my Instagram, Candy's Locker Room. And, of course, like, share, comment, leave me your feedback, ask me questions, all of that good stuff.